The only one that really counts in that shot is that lovely lady right over O.J. Simpson's head.
Emmy, yeah, she's sticking close to Howard. Last night we went to a charitable affair for honoring Bum Phillips, and when the affair was over, Howard had about 13 of the Saints' wives cornered. So Emmy's staying close to him since then.
Nothing's changed. The Juice was noted for his absence of truth during his playing years, and that embellishes the situation.
Set to go. Once again, the score tied at 14. Got underway following a turnover with George Rogers leading the way for the Saints. A touchdown. Lance Bell answered with an interception from Stabler to make it 7-7. Kenny Stabler came right back. Hit a 38-yard touchdown pass to Hobie Brenner. And then Marion Barber took it in from 1 yard out to climax a jet drive to make it 14-14. Reminder once again, New Orleans 6-5. A win tonight. They move into a tie with the Rams and the 49ers. NFC West. And of course the New York Jets are 4-7. They could be 5-7. And they would still be 3 games behind Miami. Jimmy Rogers will bring it out. And Rogers out to the 24-yard line. Let's take a look at the first quarter stats, and then we'll move to the second quarter.
In the first quarter, as you can readily see, New Orleans dominated. The Jets scored because of a Lance Bell interception and return for a touchdown. But in the second quarter, the Jets evened things off. The Jets did accomplish, though New Orleans leads in total yardage, 2 things. First, they stifle the New Orleans run. Rodgers held a 39 yards. Second, the pass rush intimidated Stabler to some degree.
Stabler on the night as he looks over 1st and 10, 5-11, 102 yards. This is Hokie Gajan, right side, and he's dropped right at the line of scrimmage.
I might have added, Frank, that Freeman McNeil, who began tentatively after 7 weeks on the sidelines with that shoulder problem, had a very good first half. He got 61 yards on 13 carries, and it became clear that his confidence increased during the half. He is back.
And that's good news for
down
the
at
Jets.
10. George Rogers piled up after a gain of a couple, giving 3. It'll be 3rd down and 7. And Richard Todd has another problem. Joe Fields, the fine center, has been sent to the locker room for x-rays. That means the line will be moved around. They're going to x-ray Joe Fields' foot. Guy Bingham will move over to center, position he's played a little bit of, but not nearly as much as the great Pro Bowler Joe Fields, and Pellegrini will go to left guard. So change offensively that line for the Jets. 3rd down and 7. Stabler underthrown, and coming back to get the football is Lindsey Scott, a #1 draft pick last year, 2nd-year man out of Georgia with blazing speed, and he has a New Orleans 1st down in Jet territory.
Bum Phillips talked about Scott unrelievedly today in the production meeting as we look at the end zone replay. And here you see Scott slowing down, coming back exactly as Frank stated.
Defensive pass interference.
Jerry Holmes called for defensive pass interference, but forget it, they'll take the play. Lindsey Scott, part of a memorable triumvirate at Georgia. You had Buck Ballou, Herschel Walker, and on a clear day, Lindsey Scott.
And Bum says that Lindsey's going to be a great football player. It's just that he does some great things. He'll beat a guy at the line of scrimmage, then he'll forget what his pattern is, or he gets lost back there. But they expect great things from this guy.
Lindsey Scott, 6'1", 197-pounder, and he did set those records at Georgia. Receiving yardage and receptions, and 1st down now for the Saints at the 38-yard line of the Jets.
Frank, remember that run against Florida to steal the game?
George Rogers, Gajan out in front, gets a block, and George Rogers pulls right through Crable. And that's not easy to do because Crable has turned in some fine games since he moved to middle linebacker a few weeks ago.
Well, I tell you, football is one emotional game. George Rogers hasn't been able to gain a yard in about the last 6 or 7 carries. Lindsey Scott makes a big play. Those linemen were around there knocking guys down, and George ran as hard as he ran earlier in the football game. Game's all emotion.
Pickup of 7. It'll be 2nd down and 3. The ball marked inside the 31-yard line of the Jets.
And it helps to have George Rogers running the ball.
He's big, 6'2", 224-pounder. miraculously recovered from the knee injury that bothered him earlier in the year. He's close to a first down, and this will be dependent upon the mark, and he should have it.
I think he does.
For the Saints, they have come out fired up here in the second half. Again, it's a game they feel they must have. Next week, New Orleans plays Minnesota. They'll play here. Then they are at New England, then they travel to Philadelphia, and they close here December the 18th against the Los Angeles Rams. And George Rogers, I mentioned he set that rookie rushing record of over 1,600 yards. Eric Dickerson, the Rams, could make a shambles out of that. Rogers left. Good play by Mel. And there will be a loss of a couple of yards.
That's the third big play where that man has given an individual performance for you all to see. Lance Mel,
well,
look at him here.
Let me show you the fullback who was supposed to block him, and it just did not do the job. Gay John just did not do the job there, and that's what can get a back kill. Running a dive, the guy's right in front of him, and he didn't make the block.
Remember Mel in the playoff game last year against the Raiders?
Had a great game. 2 intercepts.
In the final 3 minutes to preserve that victory. Second down and 12 for Stabler. That's a blitz down for the Jets. They like to send linebackers. They have 4 down men. Here they come. Stabler with the handoff to Rogers. Rogers almost broke it big. The Jets hold him just inside the 25-yard line, where it'll be third down, long yardage for Stabler. 3rd and 7. That one could have broken to the end zone. The blitz was on. They were shooting the outside cornerback. And we'll watch this play from the end zone as the Jets bring in nickelback Johnny Lynn.
You know, you really don't think of George Rogers as a quick back, but he has about as much acceleration that any big man has ever had to play this football game.
Both wide receivers. Lindsey Scott, Jeff Grote, split to the left. Another running play. This is Wayne Wilson. And
Great
the Jets
ball.
were thinking pass all the way. Darrell Ray made the save for the Jets, but it's first down New Orleans. They're at the 12-yard line of the Jets.
Great call.
Let's take a look at it. They're running well, it should have been a trap. He was looking to...
It was a trap, but Gastineau was so wide on the pass rush. Good call. They took Gastineau way wide. He wasn't even in the play. They could have just skipped the trap on him.
We talked about that in the Jets game against the Buffalo Bills, that Gastineau has a habit of playing pass first, and it hurts him. Klecko has been covering for him a lot in recent games.
That's a good point.
First down and 10. Grote is in motion. This is Gajan. They love him here. He played his college football nearby, Baton Rouge, LSU, and he gets inside the 5-yard line. A gain of 7.
Clearly they've adjusted because they've got the running game working again, and this is what the Jets stifled in the first half.
Well, Bum Phillips believe in intensity and emotion, and all they need is a little spark to get them going, and Lindsey Scott should take credit for this drive. He made a big play.
That's right.
And these guys are fired up now. They're blocking, and they're coming off the ball. 3rd
and long, and Lindsey Scott came back on the ball, and Holmes didn't even see it.
Pair of tight ends are in, Brenner and Tice. Second down and 3. Wilson.
Monty Lyons
held right at the line of scrimmage. It'll be a 3rd down and 3, and one would suspect that Stabler will be putting it up on top.
Well, I believe Bum Phillips knows as much about running the football as any coach I've ever seen. But I still question, when you get down there close to the end zone, the I formation is not the best formation to be running out of, unless you're totally dominating the opponent up front. But with the linebackers that the Jets have and the way they're coming off the ball in there close, it's not the best formation to be in.
One wide receiver, the Smarty. He's split to the right. Rogers back in the game, the tailback. This is Rogers. He'll have a first down. Rogers inside the 1-yard line.
And that was great individual effort on Rogers' part. I guess you can get away with anything. As I said earlier with Freeman McNeil, you can make up for a lot of mistakes with a great running back. A lot of missed blocks. Give a guy like that the ball, there's a lot of things he can do.
What a crowd. They are really into their football here. We've said it over and over. They've never had a winning season in New Orleans. They think they've got one. They think they have a playoff team that can go a long way. The man who brought it all here, Bum Phillips, when he came back in 1981.
Owns 2 cities, not 1.
Did we have a good time with him last night?
Oh, great time. He's a remarkable man. Great human compassion. Feeling.
Wilson tries to go over the top, and he does so. Touchdown, New Orleans. The Bummer, he's 60 years old. Great sense of humor. Great compassion for his players.
They love him.
Keeps the fun in the game. And he's got an eye for talent.
What a sense of values. Last night, in this affair for cystic fibrosis, he said, I would trade every victory I've ever had in any game I'll ever win to save the life of one child.
12-play drive, 11 rushing downs, 1 pass. And Wilson going over the top for the score. Morton Anderson. Vito Merkins gets it down, and the Saints have reclaimed the lead. They lead 21-14. 7:39 remaining in the third quarter. The Saints with a lot of plays and using up a lot of time.
I am it.
The Saints using nearly 7.5 minutes of the third quarter. Wayne Wilson climaxing the drive with the key play. Lindsey Scott on a pass from Stabler to get the first down in Jet territory. Morton Anderson to kick off. Preston Brown, the NFL's leading kickoff return man after 11 games, is deep, as is number 21, Kurt Springs. Good kick by Anderson, and Springs deep in the end zone. And there is Wayne Wilson, the man who took it over the top. 5th year man out of Little Shepherd College. We'll be back in just a moment.
When I retired,
I mentioned they are refurbishing the French Quarter. I know because the Jackhammers are going at 6 o'clock right below Howard's room. The Jets have the football. Richard Todd feeling the impact of the NFC's #1 defense through 11 games. That is what the New Orleans Saints are. Todd 9 of 14, 52 yards and 1 interception. Todd, this time, the pass that could have and should have been caught by Wesley Walker. Defense there by Waymer. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Stabler and Todd, both All-Americas at Alabama, both living on the Riviera Gulf Shore. And there's the replay of the pass to Lindsey Scott. Now watch Lindsey come back. Stop, come back on it, stay in bounds.
Pass interference was the flag. Scott staying in bounds. Very heady move. You see it all the time, and that defender turns his back to the passer. 2nd down and 10 for Richard Todd. Freeman McNeil. And McNeil. Short yardage, pickup of 3. It'll be 3rd down and 7.
It wasn't much of a play, but that was a good example. Marty Lyons sitting there. He's playing a good game today.
Yes, he is.
They're in the game.
Defensive line has played well for the Jets. They still have the capacity for the big mistake. Give Scott credit for a great catch, great play, as we've described, but Jerry Holmes failed on that play.
23-yard line, 3rd down and 7. The 2 wide receivers up at the top of your screen. Walker and Jones. Todd has the time, and out of the backfield, Harper was open, and just over his outstretched fingers, Harper 5'8", ball overthrown. Could have been a big play.
Could have been, but wasn't. The history of the 1983 Jets. And now they must relinquish the football again, and good field position, barring a fumble for the Saints.
There's Jeff Grove. He'll move back close to his 35-yard line. Jeff Ramsey not having a good night. There's Ramsey. Came into tonight averaging a little over 40 yards per punt. As you can see, shoeless kicker. This time, Ramsey hangs it up. It still doesn't turn over, but Groth is forced into the fair catch at the 35-yard line. So the Saints, now with a 7-point lead, will have good field position. A 41-yard effort that time by Ramsey. We'll be back in the Superdome in a moment.
He's only
Castano, Pro Bowler, utterly frustrated by the course of events this year. He explains.
You know, it's just hard to explain the feelings of the players that are on the team because we've got so much talent on that team, and I think that's what hurts everybody as far as on the team and nationally, because I think everybody around the United States know that the New York Jets have got unlimited talent, but we just can't get it together, and it's just something that that is really frustrating for me, and I'm sure the coaches just as much or more than the players, because they realize what they've got on the team too, and it's just something that I can't explain.
The Jets, of course, 4-7 on a season many thought that would wind up in Tampa Bay. New Orleans with a 7-point lead, 21-14, first down and 10. The ball inside their own 36-yard line. Gajan, big opening, he's in the clear.
All right.
Hokie Gajan.
All right.
Caught from behind by Bobby Jackson, but not until he races to the 7-yard line of the Jets. Big opening left side. 58-yard run by Hokie Gajan. Again, the crowd on its feet for this former LSU star.
I tell you, I'm a fan of running backs. When you see a guy like Gajan who has what I think limited ability, go out and put the maximum effort every time and break a run like that, you gotta love him.
But it's clear that this club is superbly coached. The way they've adjusted since the beginning of the second half, making the run work. Look at this.
Great cutback. Broke a tackle by Gastineau. And he's off to the races. Well, one thing we do know,
Bobby Jackson
got
can
some
run.
speed.
No one ever said Gajan was the speediest man around, but he is just what you said, O.J. He plays from the heart. He did that at LSU, a 10th-round draft pick. No one really thought he was going to make this ball club. But he does a number of things. He is a fine blocker, and he has that quick burst of speed. First down, goal to go. The Saints. George Rogers. Rogers. Down close to the 2-yard line.
There is the beleaguered man.
These guys are fired up. You look at Rich Maltby was in the end zone trying to make a block on a guy who couldn't possibly get into the play. That's the mark of a well-coached, well-motivated football team.
That's the point. You said it earlier. Emotion is so much of this game. Togetherness is.
You saw John Tice, the extra tight end, come in, give the play to Stabler. Stabler usually calls about 85% of his own plays. Down on the goal line, they'll tell him what to do. Rogers, touchdown. George Rogers, second touchdown of the night.
So they've busted it wide open in a hurry. And that's the man right there.
Well, there's 2 touchdowns
remaining in the third quarter.
2 touchdowns win the third quarter. It's not quite wide open yet, Howard.
These people are going crazy.
Hey, the party's just beginning here.
Who that gonna beat them Saints?
Who that gonna beat them Saints?
They're kind of abbreviated as you walk around town. They recognize you or something, and they say, who dat? Who dat? And they finally have created the song, and you hear it all over the place down here.
Hear them?
That's what they're chanting right now.
The Saints survive it, huh?
Rogers on the night, 73 yards on 19 carries, a couple of touchdowns. Anderson on for the conversion. Perkins gets it down. And now the Saints have opened up a 14-point lead. Build a song around it. Remember Love You Blue in Houston?
Al Pacino is Scarface.
They're bananas in the Superdome in New Orleans. Anderson to kick off. Kirk Springs from the end zone. And Springs stepping out of bounds just over the 20-yard line. The Saints did it both ways here in the third quarter. They had a 12-play drive. They used up nearly 7.5 minutes. They got a big play from Hokie Gajan, a 58-yard run, followed by the touchdown, George Rogers going in. They lead 28-14.
They are getting big play, fiery play from their offensive line. And in that Gajan run, the culprit again was Darrell Ray.
You saw that?
Didn't you?
Well, I saw Gastineau have a shot at him at the line of scrimmage. Not that it was his fault, but he had a shot at him.
On first down, Todd is back. Fires in short, underneath, gets the completion. This is Jerome Barkham moving out for a Jet first down. Last night's presentation of the day after has a whole lot of people thinking, how would our government react in a crisis where the stakes are life and death? Beginning tomorrow, a 4-part unusual special simulates the real thing on Nightline with Senator Edmund Muskie as the president and former government officials playing the other roles. The crisis game that begins tomorrow night on Nightline with Ted Koppel. First down and 10. The Jets out at the 32-yard line. Todd fires complete over the middle. Mickey Schuler. And he goes down at midfield with another Jet first down. The big tight end from Penn State.
Well, for the first time, he's connecting upfield. You'll notice the graphic earlier. Here's an end zone replay. Showed him 9 out of 14 for only 52 yards in the first half. So they were reduced to the dump-off pass. Here's Todd getting it after releasing the football.
Well, the Jets have been accused of not being an emotional football team. When you're on national TV and you're down in the third quarter by 2 touchdowns, I think the players are getting a little emotional now.
They have marked it inside the 49 of the Saints. Freeman McNeil tries the left side. He just smothered there.
He was smothered because of Mickey Schuler.
Schuler, I agree.
We're going to pause 5 seconds and allow our stations around the country let you know who's bringing you the game. A game that was close up to the half. It was tied at 14. The Jets got the scoring underway. The Saints got the scoring underway. The Jets came back. We had a tie at 14 at halftime, and now the Saints have opened up a 2-touchdown lead. We have 3:08 remaining in the third quarter. The Jets have a second down and 9. The ball at the 48-yard line of the Saints. Freeman McNeil running well tonight after 7 weeks absent from the lineup. Tries the right side. Gets a gain of about 6 yards. It's going to bring up a third down and a long 3 for Richard Todd. Dennis Winston there defensively for the Saints.
McNeil could have had a big gain on the last play, Frank, if Schuler hadn't been upright, not executing his block, and stifled McNeil.
Well, the worst thing you can do for a back as a lineman is, even if you miss your block, keep moving, get out of the way. If you miss a block, you can't just stand there, because that's an area the back can't run in.
Either lead or follow or get out of the way.
Yeah. George Steinbrenner. That's his motto.
McNeil. He'll have a Jet first down to the 35-yard line. Good call. Saints thinking pass. Got the trap block. Could have been a big gainer. Good defensive play.
100 yards per game with McNeil is almost automatic when he's healthy.
The trap was intended to go against Bruce Clark, and just like Gastineau earlier in the quarter, figuring pass, he took himself wide. The trap was not even necessary, and they are attending an Oiler that we have not been able to identify.
I think it's Frank Warren, the Saints, their best pass rusher, at least coming off the bench. He looks like he's hurt. It looks like it could be a knee.
Hope not. McNeil, by the way, Frank, has 78 yards thus far.
They've been tough yards. And now they have just adjusted that to 73 yards. But they have been tough sledding against the #1 team in the NFC defensively, the New Orleans Saints. We'll be right back.
Nissan truck.
Appears to be all right. He came off holding his right thigh. We were concerned about a knee. It appears to be perhaps a thigh bruise. First down and 10, the Jets at the 35-yard line of the Saints. Bruce Harper now single setback for the Jets. Works well out of the backfield as a receiver, as any Jet follower is aware of. Saints up there showing blitz, but they drop out of it. Todd under pressure. I think we'll have a holding call as he gets the pass off complete to Jerome Barkham.
This will be a holding call.
Slow getting up. They'll bring it back.
It was one of the better play action calls I've seen. It was a real good fake on that. I thought he had the ball.
This has been their pattern all year long, just as the Giants had trouble all year long until yesterday getting the ball in when they're inside the 20. This is the most penalized team in the league, the Jets, and that's a sign of absence of discipline. Don Shula, notably, has the least penalized team almost year in and year out.
The Raiders are normally the most penalized team.
We have holding, number 72, offense.
Chris Ward, left side, has troubled his entire career.
But with the Raiders, I think part of it is by design.
Yes.
Yeah, that's definite holding.
Well, I would say that is holding. He just spun Jim Wilkes around.
If it's not, you've got a scoop.
So the down remains the same. They lose the 10. It'll be first down and 20. The ball at the 45-yard line of the Saints. Freeman McNeil back in. He'll be the single setback. Top of your screen is Lamb Jones. Wesley Walker, stiff left. Walker. And Wesley gets outside, stepping out of bounds inside the 37-yard line. And it's going to bring up a second down and 12. It was Johnny Poe up there defending against Walker. Great speed on the outside.
Well, that was a good call, and that was a good play because you can't get it back all at once. You shouldn't even try.
You know, you look at the Jets and you get the feeling that it's like going into one of those ice cream shops where they have so many flavors to choose from. You don't know what to pick. You know, you look at the Saints. They're a team that they don't have a lot, so they just go with one thing, something that works for them, and they establish something and they go with it. The Jets haven't established anything today. They've thrown a little, run a little.
Second down and 12. Schuler in motion. Big draw, and Todd unloads to Schuler.
Out of bounds.
No, he catches it out of bounds. He would have only picked up about 3 yards on the completion. That will bring up third down and 12.
Yeah, you talk about a team trying to be balanced. Well, you know, balance can be misleading. You can have a balanced attack. It's how effective you are doing whatever you do. You know, the Saints get the most out of running that football, and I'm sure they would like to get more out of their passing game, but they know what they do well, and they stick with it. They can come out on the football field and establish something. You can say that's a running football team. But the Jets, I don't know what to call them, a great passing team or a great running team.
Harper and Durking are both in. They're good receivers out of the backfield. 3 wide receivers. That represents Jones, Gaffney, and Walker. Third down and 12. Wide open. Wesley Walker will have the first down inside the 25-yard line. Good pattern by Walker and good blocking for Richard Todd.
They're laying off Walker now.
So the Jets keep it alive with 1:21 remaining in the third quarter.
Let's see Walker. It looks like he and Todd, as they've somewhat timed it up a lot better. Todd has had a lot of time today to throw. He just hadn't been able to get the ball there, or hadn't read his receivers correct.
Poe has 7 intercepts on the air thus far as you look at Walker's graphic.
But he has great respect for Walker.
That's
laying
the point.
well off that time with single coverage. Here's Freeman McNeil. And McNeil hit first by Johnny Poe, making a good defensive play from cornerback. Then Johnny Poe got the swarming Saints defense. And they will do that to you. They are active.
You're talking about, you know, the psychology of the game of football. If a receiver's having a great game, you can always double them, or you can have a linebacker bumping. It doesn't affect the lineman or a linebacker on the other side, but when a back is having a great game, it affects the whole defense. Everybody feels that we got to work together to stop this guy.
We have a second down and 8. Ball marked at the 21-yard line. Walker goes right. And now Lamb Jones will move into the slot up at the top of your screen. Good shot. Richard Todd gets Wesley Walker. He'll have a first down. He's inside the 10-yard line. It'll be first down, goal to go. So 2 fine passes. Todd to Wesley Walker has kept this drive alive.
Well, this is the Wesley Walker we've known through his whole career with the Jets. He's suddenly having a field day. Free again and again.
Hey, he should give a bonus to Freeman McNeil for every game Freeman plays.
Exactly.
And that time, Waymer was caught in single coverage. Richard is reading it well because a moment ago on the 3rd and long, he read Johnny Poe in single coverage. Walker now 5 receptions, 55 yards.
And he should have 8 or 9.
Those are the seconds remaining in the third quarter. Here comes the blitz. And down goes Richard Todd. That will not be a fumble. Todd, however, hit by Ricky Jackson. That's the second sack of the night for Jackson.
I tell you, he leads the team in sacks, and I was told by a coach that he's just too strong for any back to block. And you saw a back came there, back had perfect position on him. He just ran right over him.
Now you mentioned that he played with Hugh Green, the much celebrated Hugh Green of Pittsburgh, but it was actually Ricky Jackson as a senior who led Pittsburgh in tackles.
Well, you knew the blitz was coming.
You can know it's coming, but you still have to block it. You know?
Oh, I don't think they were surprised because the Saints will blitz probably more than any other team going right now today, particularly in the NFC. Time expires here in the third quarter. 28-14, the Saints over the Jets, and we'll be back for the fourth quarter after this word from our local stations. The Jets, their second down, goal to go. The ball near the Saints' 20-yard line as we begin the fourth quarter. They're also down 14 points. The Saints on top 28-14. Bruce Harper, fine receiver, number 42 in the backfield for the Jets. Saints showing blitz and then dropping out of it. Todd goes low and behind, incomplete. It'll bring up third down and goal to go from the 20. Bruce Harper, the intended receiver, picked up, covered smartly by Whitney Paul, the outside linebacker.
And Bruce Clark tagged Richard Todd. Old Bruce Clark from Penn State. Him and Matt Miller. They were pretty tough together, wasn't they?
Right.
Richard obviously displeased with somebody's pattern. Third down, goal to go. And in comes Derek Gaffney, the sure-handed receiver, without the blazing speed of Lamb Jones and Wesley Walker. And of course, we see Harper and Jerking as setbacks. They're fine receivers. 13th play of this drive, which is an endangered species at the moment.
Well put.
Richard Todd gets a great effort, and he fires the ball over the middle. And a Jet is down. It is Bruce Harper who could have caught that ball. It would have, of course, on
It would have been a great catch, Frank.
It would have at least moved Pat Leahy much closer for his field goal attempt.
Very interesting series of calls, Juice. You've got them pouring in on you. You've got the blitz. You know it's coming. Not one single call of a quick screen.
Yeah, I thought they should have.
Unbelievable.
Taxed them a little. You made a point there. You said it would have been a great catch. Well, that's what the Jets have lacked. They've lacked the big play this year. They've moved the ball well, but they've lacked the ability to make the big play, and they need the big catch. You saw the big catch that Lindsey Scott made. Well, the Jets have not made those type plays.
Actually, Harper had a difficult time getting out of the backfield. Richard stepped up. He was distracted there by one New Orleans Saint. Here is Harper. I'm sure Harper would agree that's one he should have caught.
Well, I don't know. It was a
Whitney
tough catch.
Paul on the coverage. And Bobby Johnson up there helping him.
Watch Ricky Jackson again. 57 coming to the screen here in a minute. See why he was forced to throw that ball. Bingo. There he is. No,
I thought that was a late hit, by the way.
I don't think so. He seemed to be there. The slow motion there.
This young man now on the carpet, Bruce Harper, has just played some fantastic football for the Jets in the absence of Freeman McNeil. He had arthroscopic surgery on September the 6th. He came back 3 games after that, and he came in tonight with some great numbers. As we look at
okay, at the halftime,
through the third quarter.
Yeah. Things virtually evened off at the halftime, and so was the score at 14-all. But in the third quarter, look at those rushing yards as New Orleans poured it on.
Started marching in.
With a big, yeah, they started marching in.
Those Saints. I tell you.
Harper is up. He's not a big man by any measurements. 5'8", 177 pounds. And he was really hammered.
You know, as a runner, I really admire that bum. Running the football is so simple. You just try to put more people at the point of attack than their offensive players and there are defensive players, and it's amazing how many coaches can't convey that to their players. They try trap blocking and position blocking. It's a simple thing. Don Robinson, Bum Phillips, they understand it as well as anyone.
38-yard attempt by Pat Leahy. And Leahy, who loves the luxury of kicking off the carpet, he kicks in wind-blown Shea Stadium off natural turf. He gets it through the uprights. They'll mark it officially at 37.
A Christmas gift.
We're going into the locker room. We presume we'll get a report, and we'll give it to you as quickly as we get it. Pat Leahy to kick off for the Jets. Wayne Wilson is back along with Jimmy Rogers for the Saints.
It's a rib injury, Frank, that Harper has.
And Leahy, surprised Wayne Wilson, puts it over his head, out of the end zone, touchback. It'll be first down and 10 for the Saints at their own 20. This Friday, college football, 2:30 Eastern Time. Army goes against Navy. Then Saturday, that'll be at 12 o'clock Eastern Time. Second-ranked Texas against Texas A&M. And then at 3:30 Eastern Time, December the 3rd, this is on Saturday, third-ranked Auburn against Alabama. One of the great rivalries, as is the one between Texas and Texas A&M. And, of course, Auburn will be right here for the Sugar Bowl, New Year's Day. And you'll see it right here on ABC. Actually, they're going to play it on January 2. First and 10. Rogers left side. And the Jets holding to a couple. The big man, he's been unable to break off the big play tonight. Oki Gajan did that with a 58-yarder to set up the Saints touchdown, but Rogers has got the tough yardage.
He's almost caught Freeman McNeil.
You know, there's been a lot of talk about Jim Brown coming back. It's strange looking at Rogers. I liken him in some ways to Jim Brown in that he's 230-something pounds, and he never gets caught from behind. You know, Jim was like that. He'd never catch him in the secondary.
Second down and 7. Gajan, he is stacked up as he moves over the 25-yard line, a gain of a couple of yards.
Juice, I got to be honest.
Third down and 3.
I don't liken anybody who ever played this game to Jim Brown. Just to be honest.
Well,
I think you were one of the greatest, but I think Jim Brown is the greatest running back who has yet played football.
well, I certainly have to agree that there's never been anyone better. My favorite, though, of all time is still Gil Sayers.
Different kind of back.
Well,
Third down and 3 for the Saints. They need this. Jets are throwing a lot more fire. Wayne Wilson, right side. And Wilson will get the first down. Good effort. Spinning, twisting over the right side. And he'll have a Saint first down at the 32-yard line. That was a big play.
yes, it was.
It's a big, big play, and Mel wasn't happy with himself on that play, and neither was Klecko, for that matter.
Well, we got this game down to what the Saints like to play. It's you against me. You know we're coming at you. Stop us.
That's the guy.
That has coached at every level, high school, college. Came here in '81 after 6 years with the Houston Oilers. Bum Phillips had the Oilers in the playoffs, 78, 79, and 80. Trying to do it once again here with the Saints. Wayne Wilson. Fumble. And the Jets will have it.
There's a break the Jets needed.
Get the turnover that they've been looking for. And guess who? Lance Mel. Always around the ball.
A big play
interception tonight. Took it in for the Jets' first touchdown.
Probably deserves All-Pro, but he's playing in a position that probably the toughest position in the NFL today to make All-Pro.
Give Gastineau an assist.
Gastineau was the guy. That's right, Frank. He punched that ball out.
So the Jets, first down. They're at the Saints' 40-yard line, and Lance Mel is slow, moving off to the sidelines.
He can't afford to lose that.
I tell you, he's been All-Pro in most years, but when you look at Banks and Taylor and some of the great linebackers in this game, he's got some tough competition.
Chip Banks has really become a great linebacker.
Always has been. Always has been.
We're in the fourth quarter. 12:32 remaining. And the Jets trailing 28-17. Freeman McNeil, single setback. Lamb Jones split to the right. Top of your screen is Wesley Walker. Freeman McNeil. An opening that closed rather quickly. Derlin Moore rolling out from nose tackle.
But he got 4.
Good backs will get 4.
Winston not.
Dennis Winston a little slow getting up. It could be.
Yeah. Could either be a shoulder. No, I think his helmet or something maybe.
He might have even stuck in the shoulder pads of Freeman McNeil.
Yeah, his helmet,
I think his face guard did. That was frightening.
Yeah. Thinking of a McNeil's shoulder, I was saying it was frightening for the Jets.
And they work on Lance Mel. They're going to remove the right shoe. And now Dennis Winston is having a problem.
I think it's Kovac that's having the problem. Looks like he has an ankle possibly. Number 52.
Yes, it is Kovac.
They can't afford to lose him now. I think he's the leader of this defense, really, even though Ricky Jackson may be making the big plays. He's the hitter. He's the guy that keeps them all together.
He calls the plays. He calls the change-ups. And Bum Phillips' son's rather complex defensive system.
You said he was 5'8", didn't you?
5'8", graduate from medical school in June of '84. Second down and 6 for the Jets. Got out there. Wide receiver. This time it is Gaffney with the sure hands coming down with the ball. Another Jet first down near the 25-yard line. And the late moments of the third quarter, and now in the early going of the fourth quarter, they belong to the Jets.
Well, the game's an emotional game. It takes a big play by St. Louis, by the Saints that got them going, and the Jets have just made a big play, and maybe that'd be what they need to get going. They get in the end zone now, we'll have a pretty good game. We've had a pretty good game.
Not a bad one.
At the 25-yard line. And this crowd once again goes to its feet. Now they're shouting defense.
Complain about the noise level.
It is tremendous down on the floor. It just reverberates around here in the Superdome, and of course focus is right down on the playing field.
Remember the night this place had its greatest noise level in history? You were with me, Gifford, when Ali appeared to go against Spinks. Ali, Spinks too.
The comeback.
Yep, the place packed, and they went simply crazy when Muhammad came out to enter the ring. Who dat?
Hey, all this town needs is an excuse to go crazy. They need a winner, and it looks like Bum Phillips had brought them one.
I think they're trying to readjust the clock. And there's just a little bit of a delay in the game. Pat Haggerty has moved over to the sidelines where he wants to discuss perhaps the changing of the clock.
What if it's for the noise level? I think Richard Todd did a smart thing there, because I don't think it was that loud. But
it was
got to jump. Yeah, he's got to jump on the officials now. So if it gets any louder than that, they'll stop it.
Well, we'll get the definitive word in just a moment from referee Todd Haggerty. And now we understand that our sideline man, Bill Edwards, has told us that they're going to put 24 seconds back on the official clock. I guess that will make it official. Well, they'll count it down. Richard Todd, meanwhile, utilized the time. He drifts over to the sidelines, has a quick word with Joe Walton. Cincinnati with Kenny Anderson able once again. Chris Collingsworth, Dan Ross.
5 out of the last 6.
Pete Johnson had himself quite a game yesterday.
They've really come alive. They're like the playoff team of a year ago since Pete Johnson came back. Miami will have plenty on its hands to handle. You can believe that. That's a good matchup.
Everything is now put back together again. 11:44, the clock says. That's official now. It's first down and 10 for the Jets. They're near the 25-yard line of the Saints. Walker in motion. Richard Todd gets it into the tight end, Mickey Schuler, short of the first down, inside the 20-yard line. Gain of 7. It'll be second down and 3.
But he fired that ball. Threw it well, threw it confidently, and Schuler is a sticky-fingered receiver.
Joe Walton now using receivers to bring in the plays. Kovac, by the way, coming back into the defensive huddle for the Saints. He apparently all right. There's Joe Walton. His wife Ginger looking on. Has a fine son, 11-year-old. I'll tell you, it might be tough on Joe Walton. But I've been in this game a long time. It's tough on the family, too. And you better believe, Tiger, your old man's all right. Second down and 3. McNeil. It looked like he might want to throw the football. Flag is down across the field.
I think he wanted to create that illusion that he was thinking about throwing the ball.
No, Freeman has thrown. Threw a key pass for a touchdown last year.
Again, the flag is down. Here's Pat Haggerty.
Illegal formation, offense.
They get more and more of that now. And, of course, the formations used in the game today with the multiple receivers, the multiple specialists, create that kind of a situation where you get it.
Interesting penalty. Always at a key moment.
Well, those are the ones you remember. There's a lot of them at dull moments, but you don't recall those.
That'll back the Jets up. The down will remain the same. Second down, it'll be second down and 8. Marion Barber is in the backfield now for the Jets, along with Freeman McNeil. Wesley Walker up at the top of your screen. He's been Todd's key man. This is the down. The Saints like to bring their folks. Fake reverse. Freeman McNeil holds on to it. Bobbles the football, and the Saints cover. The Saints get it. Freeman McNeil hit hard, coughed it up, and the Saints get the turnover. Frank Watlett.
He hit him pretty good. McNeil is still down on the surface.
McNeil still down and holding the left knee.
Oh, he looked like he was stumbling when he got hit.
Now they are looking at the ankle, the left ankle of Freeman McNeil, and he is in obvious pain.
Frank Watlett, another one of those defensive backs, doesn't have a lot of speed, but he's a heads-up smart player. Look at him. You'll see him. He'll appear to be stumbling. It looked as if he couldn't get his balance, too.
Watlett. Gaffney had a shot at it, and there is Frank Watlett. Gets the turnover. Third-year man out of Kansas, and the free safety. McNeil is still down. They're still looking at him. We'll be back.
If you're a smoker,
He's come off the field. He is walking fairly well at this point. He was in obvious pain. They took the shoe off, and probably either the left foot or the left ankle. We'll do our best to get a quick report on McNeil. Meanwhile, first down and 10. The Saints on the fumble recovery. The ball at their own 15-yard line. Inside 11 minutes remaining in the game. Saints with their 6-5 record, trying to draw abreast of the Rams and the 49ers for the lead in the NFC West. Stabler going all the way. Hopefully Gaijan, another big opening, and Gaijan up to the 25-yard line. He had to get just beyond that for the first down. Lance Mel made the stop.
Let's take a look at Lance Mel, number 56 there. Falls right inside, fights off the block of the, I guess it was a tight end. Gets in on the action. He's always where the ball is. Just too bad this team is not winning. When you're winning, you get the recognition you deserve with outstanding play like his.
On that play, he was doing someone else's job. Second and short. Gaijan gets the first down easily out over the 25 to the 27.
I admire this football team, and I admire Bum Phillips.
They're doing the best with what they have. They came
sure
into tonight's game 14th in the conference in passing, 27th in the NFL, 12th overall in the AFC, but the best thing they could do is run the football, and they've done that tonight. They're creeping up close to 200 yards on the ground, and it's been a long time since the Jets have allowed even any running back to go over 50 yards.
And that's Gaijan's first 100-yard game in his career.
George Rogers breaks it back against the grain, runs into Rabel, the middle linebacker, who was floating out.
Well, Gastineau did one heck of a job penetrating where it may have hurt him on a trap or off-tackle play. He did a great job of getting some penetration on that play to break down the interference and not allow George to get outside. I mean, George Rogers to get outside.
Look at that difference.
They are
right
over
there.
the 200-yard mark. But the Jets in the early going gave up tremendous yardage.
Well, the Jets haven't.
New England, Tony Collins had over 200 yards against them. The Rams, we watch George Rogers once again. Now the Saints are playing back to that weakness that the Jets had early in the season. Kurt Warner, well over 100 yards for Seattle. And then the Jets put it together against the rush. But the Saints are using their best weapon, that is the running game.
Well, in the last 7 games, the Jets have given up an average of about 85 yards per game rushing, and that's excellent. Can't play any better than that.
I mentioned that it was Tony Collins who went for 212 yards against the Jets. Actually, New England had over 300 yards rushing, and the Saints now are second best against the Jets in that area. Third down and 7. Stabler rifles it out. It's complete to Lindsey Scott. He kept his head about him and got a first down out of it. Jerry Holmes defensively there, but that was a great effort by Lindsey Scott. He was actually crawling to get that first down.
That's two great catches by Scott in this contest.
Let me tell you, they've been waiting to get that big receiver, and if Lindsey Scott plays up to his ability, they'll have that home run hitter. Bum Phillips told us today he's happy with his offense. You really don't need any more players on his offense. He says he has the nucleus there, and he thinks they'll mature and be an excellent.
You want to know something? You don't need the best players in the world at every position. You need the best team. That's what the Washington Redskins understand.
That's the 37-yard line, George Rogers, and George Rogers turned something into, rather nothing into something. That was stacked up beautifully. He spun back to the inside, and he'll get a 4-yard pickup out of it.
You're one of the greatest players ever to play this game, Juice, and you know what emotion means. You know what motivation means. And you know that the key to coaching is for every man to get the most out of himself, but only in synchronization with every other man on that team. And that's what Bum Phillips does for a football team.
Hey, how about a city? Look at this city.
Marked at the 41-yard line, so it's a gain of 3, 2nd down and 7. Rogers once again runs into his own man, Wayne Wilson, and then Kenny Neal did the remainder of the job. Still, there was a pickup by Rogers of about 2 yards. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 5. Meanwhile, the seconds are ticking off.
We don't want to make this the Bum Phillips show, but I happen to have a lot of admiration for him. Obviously, being a running back, I've seen what he's meant to Earl Campbell and what he's meant for George Rogers here. And to see a coach, players' enthusiasm for playing him, for him, to see cities turn on to him.
That's right.
It's incredible.
Exactly right.
3rd down, long 4. Saints working on the clock, trying to keep this drive alive. Wilson. And Wilson is taken down right at the line of scrimmage. That'll bring up 4th down. The Jets will get the football back.
Well, there was a mix-up in that handoff, as you could see, but they weren't going anywhere with that play anyway. Still, they've used up a lot of the clock.
Yeah, I was going to say the key to that is they had a couple of first downs. They used up some the clock. A passing team may have gotten 3 or 4 first downs and used up a minute and a half. They used up about 3 minutes during the time of those 2 first downs.
Erxleben is on. Kirk Springs has dropped for the Jets with great respect all the way back to his own 12-yard line. And well-deserved respect because Erxleben has kicked well this year, averaging over 42 yards, but his hang time is something awesome. It's another one way out. Springs at the 10-yard line. And Springs finds an opening, and he moves out close to the 29-yard line where the Jets will take over. Hustling down there defensively, it was Jimmy Rogers. A punt of 48 yards by Russell Erxleben. The Jets have the ball back, 5 minutes remaining in the game. The tradition still remains. The paddle boats still exist around New Orleans, the Crescent City. Let's go, Ricky! The Jets with 5 minutes and 8 seconds remaining in the game. 1st down and 10. The ball thrown 29-yard line, and Todd is sacked. Reggie Lewis, the second-year man out of San Diego State, always in there when the passing game is expected.
He went around Chris Ward like Chris Ward wasn't there.
He had 5.5 sacks coming into the game. That's another.
And the Jets going quickly to a hurry-up offense.
And it worked already.
The flag is down.
The flag is for too many men on the field, so this play will go. The Saints
two flags down now.
The Saints were unable to get off the football field. It was a smart move by the Jets.
And we have seen this done before. Bud Grant has done it many times up in Minnesota. Go to a quick offense. Don't let them bring those specialists in there. Here's Pat Haggerty.
Illegal procedure. Too many men on the field. Defense.
You wonder why they didn't do it earlier.
You catch them in the change when they try to bring in their nickel back or take out a linebacker that's not a good pass defender, and that play goes.
Yeah, that's one for Joe Walton.
And this could have broken big because some of the Saints were just laying off. They saw the flags. There was no whistle that had blown. And the gain is all the way down inside the 40-yard line of the Saints.
Well,
still plenty of time in this game.
Frank, the Jets got away with one there. There was a big hold on Reggie Lewis.
Yeah, but it was a good play on Walton's part. It's going to be interesting to see what Wade Phillips, Bum's son, who runs the defense for the Saints, how he will counteract that.
38-yard line, 1st down, 10 Jets. They trail 28-17. Richard Todd, Wesley Walker. And Walker steps out of bounds with another Jet 1st down inside the 28-yard line.
It takes so little to motivate a team when you think you burned them one time. You did a little thing like going on 1st down and not huddling. You burned the defense. You get a little fired up. You know, we won that one. There's a little war within the war, I guess. A little battle won within the war.
Wesley Walker is 2nd ahead of George Sauer, but he is way behind a man named Don Maynard. First down and 10. Just inside the 28-yard line of the Saints. Walker, 7 receptions on the night. He's over 100 yards. Todd hurries another one out for Wesley Walker. And he gets the completion. Pickup of 7, and a flag is down. And I think the Jets will be detected holding again.
They certainly were. Discipline, discipline, discipline. It's what a coach must do with his ball club.
Well, you know, some people say that you're unlucky. One thing Lou Saban used to say to us, you make your own luck. The harder you work, the luckier you get.
Lou Saban was right.
He says most teams will get what they deserve.
We have holding, number 75, offense.
I would like to tell you who that is, but there is no 75 on the Jets. And they have a pair of 70s on the line, Marvin Powell and Chris Ward. First down and 20. Jets now back at the Saints' 38-yard line. Blitz is on, and Todd has to roll out. Keeps it alive. This is Lamb Jones. There's some speed for you. He'll have the first down. He's out of bounds at the 11-yard line. Lamb Jones heads up. He was moving across the middle. He spotted Todd in trouble, came back, gave him the angle, got the opening for him, and now a Saint is slow getting up. That was a pickup of 23 yards. And it looks like Reggie Lewis. Yes, it is. Reggie Lewis, who is in there on the pass rush. He wears number 98. Todd chased out of the pocket by Ricky Jackson. Now Lamb Jones is hustling downfield to give him a pattern. Good effort by Richard Todd. Good effort by Lamb Jones.
Look how alone he is. He's been that way so much lately.
Well, that reason because it was a slight scramble and he just ran to where they weren't.
So Lamb Jones will have a first down for the Jets. They're at the 11-yard line. The Jets have 4:26 to work with. And meanwhile, they continue to work on Reggie Lewis of the Saints. 8-17. Terribly meaningful game for the Saints. Todd got him. Barkham. And touchdown Jets. It was a late indication that the Jets have put it into the end zone. It was Lamb Jones coming in from the right side, moving across in front of Barkham, picking up 2 men, and they tried to go with Barkham with the linebacker.
And Barkham just bend outside. It was one of those passes you see normally, those fade passes to the wide receivers. And you got to be happy for Jerome because last week he had a couple of miscues that may have cost him the game, and he's come back this week and played well.
It was a good call, too, Judas, to put Jerome Barkham on Ricky Jackson, single coverage, an easy 6. Pat Leahy for the conversion. Leahy through the uprights. Richard Todd now has become respectable, 20 of 30, 226 yards.
And with all their mistakes, they are still in the game.
Well, that's what talent will do for them.
That's it.
4:20 remaining in the game. And the job the Saints have ahead. Let's work on the clock. Let's don't get cautious, though. Too early to think of an onside kick, I would think.
Me too.
They have to count on their defense to go out and get the ball back. We got a pair coming up for you next week. Cincinnati against Miami, and of course the Raiders and San Diego get it on Thursday night. Very important game for the San Diego.
Minnesota against Detroit following Monday suddenly becomes a very important game.
Well, you can, despite the problems the Chargers are having, you can count on the Raiders to make it interesting.
They do against everybody, don't they?
Hey, they're an exciting football team to watch, I tell you that.
They had a laugher against the Bills, and suddenly from 24-3, 24-all, and then Chris Barr. But they do win.
The Saints are thinking the Jets are going to go with the onside kick. Maybe if we get Chet Forte cover this in the end zone.
Well, why not play it safe?
You can see how many sure-handed types they have up there. There you see it. They have 1 man back. That's Jimmy Rogers. And you have 10 men up, and they're sure-handed types, receiver types.
I'd tell you what, I've been back there a few times in situations like this when I was a rookie in the league, and you sure hope if he kicks it deep, he kicks it in the end zone.
Now this is sort of a semi-short kick, and is taken by Watlett. He, of course, is the free safety. They had him right in the middle. They had the perfect alignment for it, but the Jets took a chance on the short kick, high kick, to get a man under it. They didn't hurt themselves too much.
They didn't, Frank, and I think they did the intelligent thing. They wanted the intermediate kick to land in front of Rodgers, maybe bounce around, get men downfield in a hurry, and grab off the football.
The man who has been there so many times in his long career, 14 years rather, Ken Stabler.
14 yards.
He looks it over on first down. Problem with the team, with the lead that the Saints had, they got a little cautious. But this man isn't cautious when he runs the football. He takes Lance Mel, backs him up, and picks up 7 yards.
That was strong running indeed. The other reason I think the Jets did the right thing, Juice, when you're 4-7 and you got 4 minutes and 14 seconds left to play, it's time to take chances.
Well, I thought it was a time to take a chance at halftime when they had 27 seconds to go in the half, and you're 4-7. I say, hey, don't run out the clock, go for it.
2nd down and 3. We understand the Saints' Reggie Lewis has suffered a sprained ankle. He will not be back. Rodgers again. Flag is down, and this could be a holding call against the Saints. And that would work well for the Jets because Rodgers up there very close to another Saint first down.
And if it's against Brad Elderman, it's an unfortunate holding penalty because the yardage was already made and he was already by his guy when he grabbed the guy's shirt. Now, I don't know if they call it on him, number 63, but he grabbed the guy a little late.
You saw Bum shaking his head.
Can't hurt yourself at times like that.
Holding, number 78, offense, still 2nd down.
That's Kelvin Clark, watch number 78, upper right-hand corner, working against Joe Klecko. And Klecko was in an outside move that wasn't even necessary.
No, I didn't see the holding.
Rodgers once again. 2nd down, 13. And he's held right at the line of scrimmage. And it'll put Kenny Stabler in a 3rd and long situation. Bob Crable over there defensively from the middle linebacking position.
Yeah, he did a good job of picking his way through there. Found the lane to the back, and there was nothing the back could do. He wanted to cut up, but Crable had the angle on him.
Time remaining, 3:23.
And Rodgers stopped the clock when he went out of bounds.
And if they don't make the first down and they've got long yardage,
it's going to be very interesting.
Yep, quite possible the Jets will have decent field position, though Ertzleben has kicked brilliantly tonight.
27-yard line, 3rd down, 13. Guyon. And I just think that maybe is perhaps a little too conservative this early. That'll bring up the 4th down, and the punting unit will come on.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. Even with you know, running may not be that conservative, but with Guy John running, even though he broke one earlier, a tad conservative.
Really conservative when you've got a George Rodgers and you're looking at a 3rd and 13.
Yeah, but when you got the #1 defense in the NFC, you say, hey, let's go with our strong
suit. That's what they're counting on.
I agree with you.
Okay, we have Kenny Schroy now back for Kirk Springs on the punt return unit. Kirk Springs was questionable coming into tonight. He had a hip pointer from a week ago. They don't know that that's the problem, but Kenny Schroy is back for Springs. Ertzleben, the punter, of course, for the Saints. This one doesn't turn over. And Schroy from the 25-yard line. Look out. This is going to be 6. And there are no flags.
Not a flag on the field.
And the Jets take the lead.
2:11 left in the game.
74-yard return. Kenny Schroy in there. Actually, by default, Kirk Springs was to be the man. It is Springs. It is Kirk Springs. As we look down, we thought it was Schroy, but it was Springs. And I'll tell you, this man was questionable when he came into tonight's game. Severe hip pointer. Hadn't worked out all week. And now Bum Phillips is going to have to pull it back together. And he's got one of the great men to do it in Kenny Stabler. But Kirk Springs has gone 74 yards.
And let's take a look at it.
This is the way you do it, isn't it, Juice? Just open it up and hope for the best.
Just don't hesitate. He just blew through there, accelerated outside, and actually it's broken now. He has a touchdown already, and he's done something the Jets have been unable to do this year, is make the big play. They've been in every game. They haven't made the big play, and that is what you call a big play.
If it's not.
Pat Leahy to the uprights. And the Jets have the lead.
Turned out to be some ball game. It's the first kickoff punt return for the Jets for a touchdown in 5 years.
And he had an earlier punt return that was for about 30 or 40 something yards. This kid has had a good
There was
night.
a time in Jets history when it wasn't uncommon. The year 1968, for instance, with a man named Emerson Boozer.
Hey, what about my old friend Mike Battle?
Yeah, that's right.
Battle did a good
He
job.
went crazy for a while.
There's a pair that have been there before many times. On the right, Bum Phillips, Kenny Stabler on the left.
Now you got to remember, a field goal puts it into overtime. So the Saints don't necessarily
Well, it would certainly tie it up. It wouldn't necessarily be overtime.
Oh, now
Both of
you're
these
really
teams can
stretching
score.
things.
Well, they play a little different in the late minutes of a football game. So there is all of a sudden silence, and there, quite frankly, there are some people that have left this arena. Shorey had come out on the field, and we saw him on our monitor, and he left the field. I guess Kirk Springs even was questionable at that point because he came out, and are the Jets fortunate that he did?
That made the people at the Cradle of Coaches in Oxford, Ohio very happy.
Leahy to kick off. Wayne Wilson is deep. Jimmy Rogers is back. Leahy booms one into the end zone, driving Wilson deep into the end zone for the touchback. And if you ever run a punt back, and there was no picket line intended, and Springs did what you have to do, just put your head down, hope for the best. He popped into the open, and there was no one there to catch him. And he knew he was number one. So now the job for the Saints. Keep in mind, a victory tonight, and they move into a tie with the 49ers and the Rams. A loss tonight, and that's a horse of a different color indeed.
Who dat?
They go into second place, a game behind the 49ers and the Rams, and also it will mean that the Cowboys are mathematically into the playoffs, at least as a wild card. First and 10, Stabler back. Fires. This is Hobie Brenner, and Brenner gets 5 yards to the 25-yard line, and we have arrived at the 2-minute warning. Both teams have their full complements of timeouts, 3 apiece. We'll be back in a moment.
It's here. The first Nissan 300ZX, a technological marvel.
31-28, 2 minutes remaining, 74-yard touchdown run. Kirk Springs has silenced the sellout crowd at the Superdome. Many of them have left. The Saints had a commanding lead at one point, 28-14. And now they trail by 3. Second down and 4, Stabler back. Gastineau. And Disco Mark will put it on. Stabler sacked all the way back, close to the 11-yard line. Loss of 14.
Well, Frank, you said many of the fans left. I don't think they left because they feel the Saints are blowing the football games. I think they were ready to party, and they were going to get good seats at the bars.
There'll be second thoughts. Third down, 15 for Stabler. Stabler fires a shot short of the first down to Hobie Brenner. Out close to the 28-yard line.
That was the case of 2 linebackers covering a tight end. They felt they had him covered. They both looked back at the quarterback, and Hobie Brenner made a nice adjustment to his left, and Kenny Stabler put it right on the money.
And he wants timeout. This could be their season coming up. His 4th down, it'll be about 2. And Stabler wants to talk it over with Bum Phillips. 1:29 remaining in the game. And Stabler moves over to the sidelines. He got a George Rogers. He can often get 2 on his own.
Well, yeah, I don't think they're deciding if they're going to go or not. They're deciding what play to run.
Oh, they're going to go. Boy, those 2 faces. have seen a lot of tight football games, haven't they?
Well, Bum shouldn't feel bad about his players because I think they played as well as they can play. This team played a good football team against what I would obviously say a superior football team in talent.
They haven't lost yet.
Oh, it's not over, but I'm just saying if it is, or if they don't win, they play great ball.
They're bouncing back from a 27-0 loss to the 49ers a week ago.
Interesting.
We watched Atlanta almost inept against the Rams in the second half of last week's game. And then they turn around and beat the 49ers.
Interesting thing about the Jets. If they do win this game, they will have basically cleaned up on the Western Division of the NFC. They beat the Rams. They beat the Niners. If they win this, they will have beaten the Saints if they win it. And they had Atlanta 21-0 when they unaccountably blew that game.
Well, everything comes down to this play here.
Fourth down and 2, and you had a quick look at little Tiger Walton's father on the sidelines. He wants this one desperately.
He should have it.
Wayne Wilson, he's got the first down. They stay alive. The clock continues to move. Jerry Holmes up there quickly. That's character. That team, they gave it to not George Rogers. They gave it to Wayne Wilson. They blocked it out beautifully.
Well, they gave him an overshifted defense, the Jets, and they went to the weak side of the defense.
Stabler doesn't hurry, gets it to Jeff Groth. He'll need much more than that. He was pursued by Joe Klecko at that point. And now, timeout once again.
57 seconds left, as you can see. So.
And they got a quarterback who is as good as there has ever been
at using the clock.
Well, he walks
he knows what he wants to do.
There has been timeout called. He actually calls most of his plays.
Yeah, it's his hand right now.
Lord, I've seen him win victories. Don Shula could write a book about some he's lost to Stabler. Remember the prayerful pass to Clarence Davis?
Yeah, you've got me puzzled with this one. They've stopped the clock, and now they're going to go. 30-second clock hadn't even started. Stabler, Jeff Groth.
There you go.
38-yard line. Stabler leveled once again and very slow getting up. And this hurts because Stabler may have to use a timeout now just because he's shaken up.
Oh, he has plenty of time with 45 seconds and one timeout left. He has plenty of time to run 3 or 4 plays, maybe even 5 plays, and save the timeout for...
Joe Klecko is all over referee Pat Haggerty. He wants him to start the clock. Stabler was down on the field way back at the 30-yard line.
Wait a minute.
They're trying to get Klecko says, well, we're not concerned about him being hurt. We want the clock to start. If he's hurt, they have to call a timeout.
Frank, I think Klecko is right. They must call a timeout.
He gave a signal for a timeout of Stabler when he got up. So he gave the signal for timeout. I don't know what Klecko is arguing. He may be saying that the clock didn't ever start, but it was 57 seconds clearly on the clock when the play went off, and it's 45 seconds now. So that may be his argument.
Has been indicated by the Jets. And that will bring them down to one timeout, and it could all fall on the shoulders of this youngster, Morton Anderson. His longest field goal thus far has been 50 yards, but at Michigan State, as a senior, he kicked 163 yards.
I think Klecko is claiming that the clock didn't run down during that play where they have a replay in the middle of the stadium here up high, and you watch the replay, you can see the clock was running.
Well, under any circumstances, the officials have decided.
The Saints now on the scoreboard clock have no
timeouts left.
So they did call timeout the play before, and they did not even use what appeared to be the full minute. Well, they're going to sort all of this out. That's the official timekeeper. And here's Pat Haggerty. Well, we thought Pat Haggerty was going to talk it over with us. So did the entire crowd, because there was a huge hush that fell over this arena. First down and 10. The Saints keeping it alive. They're at the 38-yard line of the Jets. Stabler trying to get it in close.
That's all he's trying to do.
The 34-yard line. Bob Crable laying all over Tice, and Tice trying to get up.
Yeah, that should have been a delay of game.
Well, they stopped the clock.
Call.
The official, in his estimation, says that there is a delaying tactic by the defense. They did stop it at 32. Now they start it at 25 seconds. Stabler will put this in the air. Growth drops it, but the clock stops at 19 seconds with the incompletion.
Well, Growth was just thinking about getting out of bounds on that. Didn't stay with the ball.
It'll be third down.
He wants to
and
get
a long 7 for Stabler.
He wants to make assurance double sure, get it in a little closer, but under any circumstances, they're now in Anderson's range.
Well, I don't know about that. It'd be a 50-yarder at this point.
More like 52. And let's pause 5 seconds and allow our stations to identify themselves. A dramatic moment coming up.
WVOE Channel 8 New Orleans with Bob
19
Rex
seconds.
weather.
It's only third down. The ball at the 34-yard line, a 51-yard attempt. Guido Merkins will put it down. Jim Petersak will be the snapper. On his way. No. And why on third down?
Well, maybe he was concerned about a holding penalty, or but I don't understand.
Recover and
yeah,
still
but
kick.
we've been talking about maybe some questionable coaching calls on the part of Joe Walton. Well, when you got Kenny Stabler, I think you should take the other down.
I do too. I'm just explaining why they didn't.
A happy moment for, as Howard characterized, a much beleaguered Joe Walton. Anderson, placement was good by Guido Merkins. And you knew right then. And the life that kickers live. And
Coach hasn't had this opportunity too often, huh? For the big cheer, huh? Well, Coach, he's lost a lot of games like this where he's outplayed the opponent and didn't make the big play in the night. I think they've been outplayed for most of the night, and they've made the big plays and they're winners.
The Jets will go 5 and 7. They'll be 3 behind Miami, 2 behind Buffalo, 1 behind Baltimore. New Orleans can't stop the clock. They're out of timeouts. And meanwhile, for New Orleans, they lose tonight. They drop into second place, a game back of the 49ers and the Rams. For New Orleans, they play Minnesota, New England, Philadelphia, and then they close here against those Rams. So the Jets, who look to be in trouble much of the night, have pulled it out. 74-yard punt return. Kirk Springs, the big play. We'll be back for a final word.
It's one of my bigger days. Let me buy a beer. Sure.
It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is prohibited. Once again, the final score, the Jets, a comeback winner over the New Orleans Saints, 31-28. A reminder, last night's presentation of the day after has a lot of people thinking, how would our government react in a crisis where the stakes are life and death? Well, beginning tomorrow, a 4-part special stimulates the real thing with Senator Edmund Muskie as the president and former government officials playing the other roles. The crisis game. It'll begin tomorrow night on Nightline with Ted Koppel. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines, the official airline of the 1984 Los Angeles Olympic Games and the proud sponsor of the United States Olympic team. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television. The winning touchdown, Kirk Springs pops it loose. He had not come on the field. Then he came back out playing with a very sore hip pointer. He goes 74 yards for what proved to be the winning points. Did Joe Walton, the rookie coach of the Jets, like it? That face tells it all.
Tomorrow, the U.S. and the U.S.
At Monday Night Football, and neighbors gear up against a new development.
This is News Scene 8.
Good evening, I'm Richard Anderson, and as you've just seen, the New Orleans Saints have been beaten by the New York Jets. Ron Swoboda will have details of the game later in the broadcast, and Margaret Dubuisson will take a look at Monday Night Football behind the scenes. But first, the Louisiana High School Task Force of ABC Sports. News CNA's Margaret Dubuisson got a look at what makes Monday Night Football work.
It's Monday night, and ABC Sports is on the road. Former New York Giant Frank Gifford says he still gets opening night jitters.
I've been 13 years, as a matter of fact, Margaret, and I still get the same butterflies as I used to when I played. Only up here, nobody hits you, at least visibly.
As Gifford preps for the broadcast, Monday night veteran Howard Cosell enters the booth. Cosell says for him, the Dome is a special place.
The Dome is a very important place in my whole life because some of the greatest events in the history of American sports took place here, and I had the privilege of working there.
The ever unpredictable Cosell. How do his colleagues feel about him?
Howard is a total professional. He really is. It doesn't mean I have to agree with everything he says. I certainly agree with his right to say it because he is a professional and totally dedicated to what he does. And I think he is a tremendous attraction of Monday Night Football.
The broadcast booth where the stars work is only one aspect of a mammoth effort that goes into Monday Night Football.
As far as the fans are concerned, they probably think most of the action takes place on the field. But for the people who produce Monday Night Football, this is where it all happens, the director's booth. It is here where all the activity that we see on the screen is coordinated. The equipment shipped to each Monday night location is worth a fortune and fills 3 huge 18-wheelers.
It's worth quite a few $1 million. I don't know how many miles of cable we have. We use 11 manned cameras and 2 unmanned cameras. There are about 65 people roughly on the crew each week that travel from game to game. And there normally are 3 trucks. One houses the videotape area. One is just for maintenance and carries a lot of extra equipment, audio equipment and so forth. And the other is the main control room.
Margaret Dubuisson, News Scene 8 at the Superdome.
Often when pro athletes' career ends, they are caught off guard, just not prepared for the future. But in part 1 of our series, The Saints After Sunday, Jim Bergamo looks at 2 Saints whose off-season activities should make the years after their playing days a lot easier.
For 6 months of the year, it's Jim Kovach's job to inflict pain on others. For the remaining 6 months of the year, it's Jim Kovach's job to learn how to cure the pain of others. Kovach is a 5th-year linebacker with the Saints, but more important to his future, he's also a 4th-year medical student. Kovach has spent his off-seasons attending medical school at his alma mater, the University of Kentucky, but he's also involved in a special program which allows him to study and earn credit right here in New Orleans during the football season. Every Monday through Friday, Kovach rounds with Dr. Charles Brown at Baptist Hospital.
The important thing is that every day I'm doing something. Every day Dr. Brown is showing me something, and every day I think I'm becoming a little bit more well-rounded in terms of medicine.
Kovach hopes to specialize in gynecological oncology, which deals with tumors in the female reproductive tract.
I have a real interest in oncology, the study of cancer, because I feel that in the next 10 to 20 years, major advances are going to be made in this field.
Kovach has already made advances in his field, the football field. And that's why, upon graduation from medical school this June, Kovach intends to hold off on the next step in his medical career, an intern residency program.
We've worked so hard here to get a winner and finally have one here at New Orleans, and it's not something that you want to just walk away from, even though I know someday that I will. I think that I'll know when that time comes, and I just have to listen to my own body and listen to my own life, my own goals that I've set for myself.
Kovach's teammate, Rich Maudie, has endeared himself to Saints fans over the years as a special teams performer extraordinaire. During the football season, he concerns himself with 100 yards of real estate. But in the off-season, Rich becomes concerned with a heck of a lot more real estate. Together with a partner, Maudie owns everything from an aviation company in Lafayette to apartment complexes in this shopping center right here in the city.
Colleen, how you doing?
Fine, how are you?
All righty. Is everything going fine with the new building in the back?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Good.
Yeah.
Maudie was advised to get into real estate the first year he was with the Saints, and he says it was good advice, unlike most football players receive.
As a football player, you get a lot of different opportunities to do a lot of crazy things. People always looking to asking for money. They've always got the best deal in town to double or triple your money, and I've seen them all come and go, and I've lost some money in some of those deals. And I don't want to see any of the other players that come in behind me do the same thing. So
what Maudie hopes to do is institute a program whereby players would be encouraged to invest in one piece of property each year that they play.
If you're fortunate enough to play 8, 9, or 10 years, at the end of your career, you've got 8, 9, or 10 pieces of property that are worth something. Even if you don't want to be in the real estate business, at least you have something to fall back on.
When an athlete's career is over, every season becomes the off-season. Through their present off-season pursuits, Rich Marty and Jim Kovach are just two of the Saints who are prepared for more good times once their playing days are over. I'm Jim Bergamo reporting, News Scene 8.
Coming up on News Scene 8, Ron Swoboda with the rest of the day in sports. Of tonight's defeat. Thought we had him for a while there, buddy.
Okay, these are not the greatest of times. I'm standing here just outside the Saints locker room. It's a pretty disappointing 31-28. I may be underestimating the disappointment here. We could try to run you some highlights right now of the ball game. We've had it tied at 14 in the first half. Coming into the second half, tied at 14, third quarter, 3rd and 7 from their own 23. Stabler deep to the left side to Lindsey Scott. Great play. They needed a big play. Went for 35 yards to the Jets' 37-yard line. Then on 1st and goal from the 1-yard line, Wayne Wilson breaks the plane. It was 21-14. Saints things looking pretty good at that point. Next possession from their own 36-yard line. Hokie Gajan, the fullback, out of the split back position, broke for the biggest run of his pro career. It went all of 58 yards. Bobby Jackson, the cornerback, the only person to catch him. He did that on the 6-yard line. From there, a couple of plays later, George Rogers ran it into the right corner of the end zone for the touch. It was 28-14 Saints, and the Houdats were all over the dome tonight. But Leahy field goal at 28-17 in the fourth. He cut the lead. Then it was conservative time. Bum staying on the ground, trying to burn some clock up, got nowhere in 2 possessions while the Jets scoring points. Todd DeBarkham, a corner route for 11 yards, and the score was 28-24 at that point. And then Kurt Springs shocked him after 3 more George Rogers runs, got nowhere. Kurt Springs, who had been threatening to break him all night long. The Saints punt coverage really on the disappointing side, and it broke down here for 76 yards and what eventually became the winning score at 31-28 when Mort Anderson missed a 51-yard try for a field goal. And you could feel the dome sag, you could see the Saints sag, and Hokie Gajan, this one was a big one, and nobody needs to say that again and again. You had the biggest day of your pro career, 100-plus yards, over almost 10 yards a carry. Can you tell me how you feel at this point in time?
Well, you know, when you go into a game, you know, you can just be 100% on every play, and then, you know, at the end of the game, if you lose, then it always takes the edge off of it. You know, I'm satisfied with what I did, but then again, you know, we don't have another W in that column.
You're stuck now. You wanted to come out of this ball game with a win. It was there in your hands. Was it the problem of Monday Night Football, people adjusting to the change in the schedule? You know, was it too much placed on the defense? You know, you went conservative and tried to sit on the thing, and it seemed like it took the air out of the Saints.
Well, I don't know. You know, today was a long day, and I'm not using that as any excuse by no means. We just, you know, we got out there, and on that one possession, you know, I think George carried the ball twice, and we ended up with 3rd and 2, and they had a holding call, and I don't even know who it was on. And, you know, I'm by no means pointing the finger at anybody saying, well, that's the big reason right there, because it's not. And, you know, I just think that the officials were looking for something to call in that situation, and that set us back, and we ended up with about 2nd and 14 or something, and that put us in the hole.
Did you feel at the point when things were going that you know, that this thing was getting out of your grasp? Was there a sense of frustration at the end, even when you had a chance to tie it with a 51-yard field goal, that you had really spoiled your shot at it?
No, not really, because you know, I think at one time late in the or about midway through the 4th quarter, they were going down. Looked like they were moving the ball pretty well, and then our defense came up with a big play, you know, the fumble recovery. And we said, well, okay, our defense is, you know, they've held up to their own, and let's go out there and do our job. And, you know, it just didn't work out that way.
Okay, I know you're disappointed. I appreciate you coming out here and talking to us. That's it from the Saints locker room. We're going to take a break here. If you keep it right here, we'll tell you about the National League MVP. See you later. Kind of took me off the hook a little bit as it was announced by the Baseball Writers Association that Darryl Strawberry, the rookie with the Mets who broke my rookie home run record with 26 home runs this year, has become the National League Rookie of the Year. And as I said before, it kind of makes me feel a little better that Strawberry, who eclipsed a record that was kind of dear to me, really went on to much better things. 26 home runs, 74 RBIs, a 257 average, 6'6" outfielder. He's got the world in front of him, and he just beat out Craig McMurtry of the Atlanta Braves for that National League Rookie of the Year. Other than that, the story here and the reason why we are standing outside the Saints locker room, they have had a terribly disappointing 31-28 loss to the Jets tonight. The Saints are now 6-6 with they're not 6-6, but they have 4 to play, and they are at 500. They're 6-6 right now with 4 to play, and that's the story here, and it's a tough one for them to take. Back to you, Richard.
All right, Ron Swoboda, thank you very much. Well, some good news. One block of sidewalk was completed downtown, and that was cause for celebration today. And LeBlanc says the sidewalks are contributing to the new look of Canal Street.
Champagne, clowns, and helium-filled balloons all added to the excitement of a morning that officials at Krause Department Store on Canal Street had waited for. Construction on new sidewalks in this block is complete. City officials helped to plant trees in front of the store to commemorate the day. Street and sidewalk reconstruction, as well as some major new developments, signal an emphasis on downtown New Orleans that, for a time, was missing. Some city officials say the image of Canal Street suffered a while back when some major merchants, like Maison Blanche, announced they were moving out.
And people just perceive that, understandably but wrongly, that downtown New Orleans was on the skids, that it was dying. And it's a very inaccurate perception, because when you compare the downtown district here, particularly when you consider that it's adjacent to the Vieux Carré, we really do have one of the most vibrant central business districts in all of America.
The river end of Canal is gleaming with tall new buildings, and the opposite end of the street is busy with activity as well. Maison Blanche department store will soon reopen its doors, and the Jung Hotel, closed for just about 2 years now, is expected to be back in business sometime before the World's Fair. All indications are that Canal Street has never looked more promising as a business area, an impression confirmed by statistics that show some 18% of all retail sales in the metro area are made right here. Anne LeBlanc, UC8.
Bob Breck is next with the weather when UC8 continues.